Hello friends, welcome back to another episode. On today's episode, we'll be talking about breastfeeding. Now I have 3 children and I have breastfed most of them. My first one was, well, all of them, should I say. My first one for 2 months, my second one for 6 months, and then my third one, I'm currently breastfeeding, he's 7 months. It was a little hard because it's your first time, you're not really sure if you're doing it right, and I didn't have that much support as I did with the last 2. So she only breastfed for 2 months, and then also I went back to work once my 6 weeks was up. So then I have my second daughter, and I went back to work 4 months later, and she had acid reflux. So it was a little struggle, but we still stuck with it for 6 months, and then she went over to formula as well. Now with my son, I was like, I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to put him on formula. I kind of feel guilty putting my kids on formula, but that's my personal opinion. And been exclusively breastfeeding with him. We did just introduce, adult food or big kid food, I guess you want to call it, last month, and he takes it pretty well, but he still always wants the breast milk. So for my pros, I have 8 of them, and the pro of having breast milk, I mean, it's a given, it's more nutrients, and it helps build immunity, and then it also helps with weight loss. Some mothers can lose their stomach a little faster by just breastfeeding, or sometimes be stubborn. It just depends on your DNA, I guess. My third thing is it's easier, in the middle of the night. You don't want to go downstairs or go to the kitchen and make a bottle. You can just roll over, pop your boob in, and just go, And then it's always at the right temperature. You never have to worry about it. Oh, did I warm it up too hot, or is it not hot enough? Just that worry of making sure you don't burn your babies. So you never have to worry about it ever not being at the right temperature, because it's always perfect. And I have my fourth one. You can make soap out of it. You just pump it, and then you can just freeze it and make popsicles, or like I said, you can make soap with it. It's good for teethers. Of course they're gonna take it. It's breast milk, so you never have to worry about them refusing to take something that's fruity or something. Most people want to give their kids popsicles with the fruits and stuff in it, then you can just give them breast milk. It's healthier, My fifth one would be my personal opinion that, to me, I felt like all my kids held their head up sooner than I feel like a kid with this not breastfed. So, they say the kids are smarter. I mean, my daughter, she's pretty well in math than my 2. And then my son, I feel like he's already saying my mind, already saying dada. He's trying to stand up. He's not walking quite yet, but it's possibly that he's moving pretty quicker. Bonding time, as soon as a lot of women go through postpartum, I just think the bonding time with your kid can help. Sometimes it does kind of irk your nerves, but that'll be my cons. I'll explain that. And then it's just safer. That's my 8th one. It's just safer. You just never know what they're putting in some of this stuff that we're feeding our kids. So just knowing that if you eat right, then the milk's gonna be right, And then for my cons, you're just always tired. It's not really, just being a new mom, regardless, is tiresome. So breastfeeding kind of drains you. So, just eat right. It helps a little. And then the next one's always being hungry and always being thirsty. So thirsty. I have my water now, so you're just always thirsty and hungry, and so you're eating constantly just to feed this guy or the gal. I can't really say it's a con or if it's a pro, but the kid always mostly only feed from you. So when you're exclusively breastfeeding, you're the provider for the kid only. So if you want to eat but the kid's hungry, the kid kind of gotta eat first, So I guess that'd be kind of the con of breastfeeding. You always have to make sure they're fed first most of the time, because if not, then they're screaming and hollering until you feed them, you know. And if they not taking bottles, which we had struggled with like the first 5 months, he wasn't taking a bottle. So I would have to always be there, or if I want to go do something, I would have to make sure I pump, and 9 times out of 10 he might not take it. So I probably only did something once without being around him, you know. So, or he would be a little fussy, or in some cases maybe a lot of fussy. And then some may say it's kind, some may say it's not, but they're kind of clingy. I mean, especially when you go farther along than the typical, maybe the first couple months you tried it and it didn't work out. So I feel that they're a little bit more clingier than it could, just because it was my first son. So maybe he's just clingy because he's a mama's boy, who knows, you know? And then my last con would maybe be forgetting to pump. So like, say we do have something planned and I'm like, oh man, I didn't pump, so how are we gonna do something, you know, if he only exclusively breastfeeds? So that could be a con as well. Now I do have some things that does help. I would say vitamin D, and vitamin D helps with more than just the breastfeeding. I'm gonna say for like my hair loss after having them, I think it helps. Vitamin D can help you with immunity and what's been going on lately. Vitamin D, you know. And then just drinking a lot of water. Make sure you drink at least almost 100 ounces, as my doctor would has not prescribed, but you know, suggest that drinking a lot of water could actually be beneficial, and not just for the kiddo, but for you as well. You know, staying hydrated. That might help with not being so tired all the time as well. And then eating a balanced meal. I don't eat breakfast like I should. Normally my day started about, well, during the summer it was starting about noon. This is time I get up, so I might be skipping breakfast and going straight into lunch and getting your dinner in, and then maybe a snack, an apple, a banana or something, you know, something healthy where it's balanced, fruit, vegetable, and a protein. Now, if your protein is a meat, you can do beans, you know, substitute that. And then try to get plenty of rest. I know it's hard, especially for new mothers. It's extremely hard trying to get rest, especially when you're breastfeeding. It's probably more harder because the baby's not sleeping all the way through. You know, I wish somebody told me, like, hey, you know, when you breastfeed, you don't get any sleep. No one told me that. So, I mean, I know it's common with being a new mother anyways, but I feel like being a breastfeeding mother, it takes a toll sometime, and you're just there just to feed the kiddo and not really there for yourself. So just try to find rest whenever you can, sleep when the kid sleeps. Now I feel like now that he's getting a little older, he's sleeping a little bit more during the morning. And then it's harder for me to even fall asleep, so it could just be me. You know, so and then my last thing would be to pump more, you know, especially at the beginning when you seem like it's going to be times when you first start that, oh, I'm not getting enough milk, I'm not getting enough. Try pumping at least 2 to 3 times more than you normally would. And for me, I would say that I wasn't pumping at all. And with this kid, I really honestly didn't have to. It was just there. But with my 2-year-old, when she was a baby, I needed to pump maybe almost every other hour. So pump maybe after she was feeding to get my supply up. My supply kind of sucked with her. So I don't know if age played a factor in that or not, but I would say just try pumping more. It does help. Even though we don't be going anywhere and I do pump, I do notice the increase. So I would say it honestly does work. And so yeah, those are my pros and cons and things that can help with breastfeeding. If you guys have any questions, make sure you comment below and like and subscribe, please. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.